Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where I talk about the rest of the week that was in pro wrestling. So that's Ring of Honor, SmackDown, and AEW Rampage. And interesting couple of developments for all three. Definitely going to be interesting to see what goes on. So we start off with Ring of Honor, and we got some good lucha action as Gravity takes on Angelico. Now, Angelico has thrown his name in the ring for a Ring of Honor title shot. Not sure when that's going to go down. Maybe it'll go down at their next pay-per-view. I'm not sure. But either way, like I said, good lucha action. Angelico with the ground and pound for a bit. Gravity's just awesome. He's becoming one of my favorite luchadors. However, end of the day, after a body slam into a knee bar, which I think it was a knee bar, I'm not sure. Your winner by submission, Angelico. We then go right into a promo from the Righteous, who are seemingly back in Ring of Honor. Vincent calling people blind. And you always see the surface, but you never see the feet going underneath. We're going to tear MJF and Adam Cole apart. And the devil isn't pulling the strings, I am. And then when I talk, you should listen, and the truth is righteous. Dig what I'm saying? I love the Righteous promos. They're always so good. And, of course, their target is still the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Although, I'm wondering what the heck happened to Stu Grayson. He's usually been associated with them. And now since the fight without honor between the Righteous, Grayson, and the Dark Order, Grayson has fallen off the face of the earth. Like, I don't know where he's gone, but I hope he's alright. Next up, we got a one-on-one contest between the Infantry's Shawn Dean taking on a very familiar face, a face we haven't seen in a long time, Pretty Peter Avalon. That's right. PPA is back in action. He's on Ring of Honor. I believe this is his debut for Ring of Honor, which is fitting. Definitely some good back and forth to start. You had Ryan Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler's brother, at ringside. Of course, getting involved, trying to do his stuff. Then Trish Adora walks around, looks like she's gonna smack Nemeth in the mouth, but that gets broken up. And yeah, pretty basic Shawn Dean match, although his finisher, the Last Salute, which is a great finisher name, to pick up the win for Shawn Dean. Next up, we got Mercedes Martinez taking on Marty Bell. Now, if you remember Marty Bell, she was in a tag team with Allison Kay, former NWA Women's Tag Team Champions. And, this was pretty much an extended squash match. Bell did get some stuff in, but this was the Mercedes Martinez show. Then, after a Sky High, which is an awesome looking move, into the OG lock for a quick victory. We then go backstage for an interview with Women's Champion Athena. Saying to her minions that Billy Stark's an interviewer, I forget her name. We're having a minion meeting today. And I don't like it when someone gets the jump on me. So what are you going to do tonight, Billy? Swing first. She calls herself the baddest, but that's what we do. Now let's go out there and make them eat it. So, yeah, nice little setup promo for a match a little later on in the evening. Next up, we get Tony Nese taking on All Ego Ethan Page. And, I really enjoyed this matchup. Really good back and forth between the two. A lot of interesting counters. Ethan Page had Tony Nese up for the Ego's Edge, but Mark Sterling comes up on the apron, distracts the ref and Ethan Page. Low blow, roll up for the win for Tony Nese. So, definitely surprised Nese got the win there. That breaks up Ethan Page's undefeated streak. So, yeah, maybe we'll see him get bumped down a couple pegs. I really hope not. Post-match, Ethan Page attacks Tony Nese. And Nese bows out. But then Ethan Page has Mark Sterling, has an up for the Ego's Edge, but Tony Nese gets him down and gets him out of the ring. So, looks like this rivalry isn't over, and I'd be okay with that. Next up, you got Diamante taking on Billy Starks, and Starks pretty much the aggressor right off the bat. Diamante definitely tries to fight back, but Billy definitely taking some aggression from Athena. And then after a surprise roll-up, the most effective move, devastating move in pro wrestling, your winner, Billy Starks. Post-match, Mercedes Martinez and Diamante jump Starks after the bell. Athena tries to make the save, but all four brawl. Mercedes Martinez gets a chair from under the ring, tries to bring it in the ring, but officials stop the brawling. So, I guess we got a tag team match coming soon. I guess we'll see. Next up, we get an interview backstage with Cole Carter, Griff Garrison, and Marie Kanellis. Talking about, they're asking Griff, about their win streak, but then Cole Carter interrupts saying, "Oh, Maria, I got you a gift." Shows it's I Heart Pro Wrestlers. Cole Carter has been wearing I Love Hot Wrestling Moms, which, creepy. Anyway, Maria kind of reluctantly accepts it, and then Cole Carter, like the lovesick puppy dog he's been, pretty much says, "Can you wear it tonight when you manage us? Can you wear that tonight?" And Maria's looking at him side-eye like, "You serious, dog?" But she then relents and pretty much says, "Yeah, I'll go put it on." Which, yeah, we'll see in that match a little later on, as we get a Pure Rules match. Now, if you don't know the rules of Pure Rules, pretty much normal match, win by pinfall or submission. However, you only get 3 rope breaks, in which you're in a pinfall or a submission, you're close to the ropes, you can grab the ropes to break it up. However, Pure Rules, you only get 3. More rules include closed fist. If you get caught using a closed fist, that's a warning. You do it again, that's a DQ. And then also, if anyone from the back interferes in this match, they are automatically fired. So, participants, we get Josh the Goods Woods, former Pure Champion, against Pat Buck, who has been a producer for AEW for a good couple years now. He honestly did really good under Pure Rules. Like taking advantage of pinfalls and submissions near the ropes, getting Josh Woods to, grab on using his rope breaks. He even gets a warning shot for a closed fist, which I don't think I've ever really seen Pat Buck wrestle, but under Pure Rules, he did really good. But eventually, Woods gets it all back together, hits him with a big old power bomb and a Woods lock, which I guess is an ankle lock, for the submission victory. That was definitely an interesting matchup. I'd say go out of your way and give it a shot. It's definitely a very entertaining match. Next up, we got tag team action as Griff Garrison and Cole Carter, being managed by Maria Kanellis Bennett, take on Myron Reed, the Young Goat, and Ren Jones. If you don't know who Myron Reed is, he is a former MLW middleweight champion. He was in MLW for a while, but now he's a free agent. I believe he is going to be joining Impact in the near future and reform the Rascals with Trey Miguel and Zach Wentz. I believe that taping goes on a little later tonight. Oh, and don't worry, we'll be talking about Bound for Glory tomorrow. That'll be something. This match was actually kind of impressive. I've definitely missed seeing Myron Reed on my TV screen. He is fantastic. Ren Jones, I am not super familiar with the young man, but he held his own. Like, he's definitely one of those guys, younger guys, to keep your eye on. But ultimately, after a double flatliner, which that looks like it hurt, your winners, Griff Garrison and Cole Carter. We then get a backstage promo from Dalton Castle, who is honestly one of my favorite characters in wrestling these days. And he pretty much, reverberates what he's been saying for weeks now. ROH TV gets better with me on it, on camera. The crowd has become accustomed to me, and I'm not letting one stand in my way. ROH is filled with ordinary. I'll make it extraordinary. Which, honestly, Dalton Castle's the best. I do wish he won the TV title from Samoa Joe. And yes, I know he's going for that record, but still. I would like to see... I would like to see Dalton Castle with some gold. He deserves it. Next up, we got Allison Kay taking on Kyria Hogan. I believe they've had matches in Impact. Actually, no. I think it was in the NWA when Allison Kay was NWA Women's Champion. That was, way before Camille. This match was fine. The crowd definitely wasn't into it, that's for sure. But ultimately, well-paced. I wouldn't say anything to really go look at, but it was fine. Hogan definitely with an interesting finisher with a Face the Music to pick up the victory. Next up, we got pretty much a squash match as the Righteous take on KM. If you remember him, he's from Impact. He teamed with Fallah Bahh and Rod Gordman. I really didn't get the guy's name because almost automatically the Righteous jump both these guys, take KM out of the picture. Dutch with the Boss Man Slam. And then Vincent with Autumn Sunshine to pick up the win. Yeah, that made the Righteous look pretty dominant. Hopefully they get their tag team title shot again, because I definitely think they deserve it. Next up, we got Lady Frost versus Zoe Lynn. A very interesting matchup. Lynn definitely trying her best to fight out, but this was definitely the Lady Frost show. And finishes up with the frostbite for a quick win. I do hope Lady Frost gets elevated up the card a little more. She absolutely deserves it. Then we go into our semi-main event, as it's some good lucha things, as Commander takes on Metalik. And honestly, this was Lucha Libre at his absolute best. This was awesome. Good back and forth. Dives off the ropes. And like I said, it's Lucha Libre. You can't really go wrong. And after a gutbuster, a rope lock, shooting star press for the victory for Commander, which is definitely awesome. And in our main event, we got a triple threat tag team match player. As we got the Workhorsemen, that's JD Drake and Anthony Henry, the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Leola, and Action Andretti and Darius Martin. At first, Action Andretti, Darius Martin, and the Workhorsemen do jump the Gates of Agony right off the bat. Toss them both out of the ring. They wrestle each other for a little bit, which is always fun to see. Including JD Drake tossing around Action Andretti. JD Drake is so much fun. Eventually, the Gates of Agony get back in the ring. Overpower pretty much everybody, including a nasty suplex to JD Drake. And then after the sandwich clothesline, your winner, the Gates of Agony. Ring of Honor was definitely very interesting this week. Definitely going to be sticking around to see what goes on in the next couple weeks. So that's Ring of Honor. We now move right into SmackDown, in which we see Paul Heyman himself standing in the ring, pretty much saying, look, I got some really big shoes to fill tonight. You see what Jimmy did on Raw, recapping Jimmy costing Jay and Cody the tag team titles. Saying Jimmy took inspiration from Roman. He called a play and he went through with it. And he cost his brother and Cody the tag team titles. And then he reveals that Roman and LA Knight will be having a match at Crown Jewel for the WWE Universal title. Rest in peace, LA Knight. Then he reveals, just like all of you, we have some commonality. I'm actually a big fan of LA Knight. But you must watch Crown Jewel, because it's the last time you'll see Knight in a ring ever again. As he's going to get smashed by Roman Reigns. Out comes LA Knight, the man himself. Saying to Paul Heyman, while you can talk the talk, you definitely can't walk the walk. And I need Roman out here right now. Heyman replies, well, Roman isn't here. He's on sabbatical. Basically, he's got scheduled time off, which, good for him, but still. Then Knight pretty much replies, oh, your boy's not coming out? Well, then where are your lips at? Now tell me, what's Roman gonna do to me? Now you call that spear a warning shot. With me, there is no warning shot. You take a shot at me, it better be to keep me down. I will not stop until I become champion. And if Roman's scared to face me, you should be. Oh, you hate that. You're pathetic. Now, with our contract signing next week, talk to Roman and make it clear whose game this is. LA Knight. Yeah. And you're going to speak the truth. That is LA Knight. So, interesting little promo battle. I do wish Heyman got some more in, because I think a promo battle between those two would be way better than it was. Then we get a shot of the Street Profits and Lashley backstage. And, Lashley and Dawkins hyping up Ford for his match against Santos Escobar, which is next. And, yeah, this was a freaking excellent match. Both these guys are, well, maybe not on the same level of booking. They are definitely both athletic enough to keep up with each other and just, they have some great chemistry, really good back and forth. Then after a Rana from the top rope, you get Lashley and Ford and Dawkins staring down the rest of the LWO. Ford goes back in the ring, but before Escobar could, Dawkins then takes out Escobar while the ref has a back turn, which leads to a 2 count. Escobar then fights back for a little bit. And then ringside, the LWO, Lashley, and Dawkins just brawl. That distracts Santos Escobar long enough for Montez Ford to come from behind, roll him up for the victory. Post-match, all these guys are pretty much brawling. Looks like it's not going to be enough for the LWO. As who makes his return? It's Carlito, and he has a little equalizer with a chair. Runs off the Street Profits and Lashley. So, nice little moment for them. We then get the full force of Damage Control backstage with Bayley and Dakota hyping up Io Sky. Then we get a little get-together with the LWO backstage, with Rey Mysterio checking on Santos. Calls the LWO family. Carlito offers to be back up for his segment with Logan Paul, but Rey Mysterio declines, saying, "I'll handle this myself." Then we get pretty much the funniest segment of the week. We got Pretty Deadly in pretty much a spa, getting a foot bath, celebrating their win over the Brawling Brutes. They're pretty much getting ready to get a massage. And they're saying, yeah, we're done with the Brawling Brutes. Then from out of nowhere, you see a couple of hands on their shoulders. They look up. It's Ridge Holland and Butch of the Brawling Brutes. And the Brutes just start beating down Pretty Deadly, including shoving their heads in a foot bath. And while I find this funny, are these guys supposed to be the baby faces? Like, that was a very heel move, and Pretty Deadly as baby faces? I guess that could be interesting. Still, after the beatdown commences, the Brutes look at each other, want to go for a pint. So, definitely a nice way to figure that out. We then get Jimmy. Then we go for Solo and Paul Heyman backstage. They're kind of sitting around with grim looks on their faces. In comes Jimmy, who is still bragging about what he did on Monday. He's still kind of celebrating a little bit. Touchdown, Bloodline. And you could just see how dejected Solo and Heyman are. Like, Jimmy is such a weird fit in the Bloodline these days. I would have liked to see him go out on his own for a little bit more. Anyway, we then go to a John Cena promo. In ring, in front of people. Pretty much saying, yeah, your noise got me fired up today. Unfortunately, today has been a rough day, and I gotta go through some harsh truth. I've been doing this a long time, and I gotta be honest with y'all and myself. Roman Reigns as champion has been a great reign, but I have a record of my own. It's been 2,002 days since I won a televised match, which that is actually really insane. Like, his last win was in 2018. Think about that for a second. Like, yeah, he's been doing stuff in the theaters, but like, it's been years since Cena won on TV. That blows my mind. Like, anyway. He continues, saying, I think it's time we all face the facts. It's been a long time since I got a win, and I've been thinking about retirement. In which that brings out some boos from the crowd, in which, then that just bounces Cena right back. Pretty much saying, I believe in us. I believe in the beauty of this madness. I can still bring it. I can turn this math around, and it's going to be a bad night for the next guy to walk through that curtain. That brings out Solo Sikoa. And they just start brawling. Like, this is a heavyweight fight. And then Jimmy comes out, super kick, right to Cena. 2-on-1 beatdown commences. Then all of a sudden, a masked superstar comes out. It's the same outfit that Jimmy Uso had on when he betrayed Jay. And so, super kick right to him. It's revealed, hey, it is Jay Uso. Getting a little payback for his brother. Back in the ring, Solo goes for a Samoan spike on Cena. Cena ducks it, hits an attitude adjustment, and the segment ends. So, I'm not sure what this is going to mean. Are we going to see Solo versus Cena at, like, Crown Jewel? Are we going to see it in a week? I don't know. I guess we'll see. We then get a shot of Logan Paul arriving. And, we'll see about that. We then get a vignette for Alba Fire and Isla Dawn's new group, in which they are known as the Unholy Union, taking on the the tag name of Undertaker and Big Show from back in the day. Yeah, y'all remember that team? That was a crazy team. Anyway, and they're pretty much saying, yeah, we got the women's tag team titles in our sights, and we're coming for you guys. So, definitely an interesting setup for them, and yeah, we'll see where that goes. Then we see Jey Uso. He's in the back. He's arguing with Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. Aldis then pretty much says, look, this is obviously a Raw issue. You shouldn't be here. Escort him out of the arena. Adam Pearce replies, wait, why are you escorting him out of the arena? Aldis says, obviously he's a Raw guy. This is a SmackDown issue. You can go too. And Adam Pearce takes a look at Aldis. May the games begin. So it looks like we're getting some new brand warfare for Survivor Series, in which, honestly, I think this is going to be a little bit more interesting. Because, we have mostly set rosters. The tag team titles are still up in the air. But I think it could be a little bit more interesting than just, whatever Vince had going on. So, brand warfare, I'd be okay seeing it return. Just do not have the two GMs be that involved. Like, I don't need to see Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, as funny as that would be, on the Survivor Series team. No need for that. Anyway. And we get a Logan Paul promo. He starts out by, hyping up his boxing match he had last week in which he won. But we all know that shit's scripted as wrestling is. So he pretty much says, while that I did win my fight, the real competition is here in WWE. And while I'm not here for Mysterio, because I already beat him, it was a tag match, I believe. So, pretty much goes down his history. Last time I beat Ray, Dom was still his son. And Roman was at work more times than he wasn't. And LA Knight didn't even have a job. LA Knight versus Logan Paul feud? I'd be okay with it. Anyway, I'm not a little boy. I know who I am. I'm not here for Mysterio. He has something I need. I need that U.S. title he has. And that crown jewel, I'm going to beat up Ray and take his title. This brings out Rey Mysterio in a very Batman-ish mask. Like, if you look at it, it has the ears and everything. It looks dang cool. Rey Mysterio then pretty much says, "You actually remind me a lot of my son Dom. Natural ability, passion for the business, big career ahead, but you got a big mouth. And you need some humbling. And the last time I kicked some sense into my son Dom, I was reluctant. Not with you, Logan." That gets a big old pop. Then he says, "You need this," holding up his U.S. title. "This title, I'll give you the opportunity you want at Crown Jewel." And Logan Paul extends his hand. Rey Mysterio's a little reluctant, but then they shake on it and Logan Paul leaves. So, that could, that's going to be interesting, to say the least. I do not like Logan Paul as a person. As a wrestler, he and Rey Mysterio are going to kill it. We then get a vignette for Io Sky versus Charlotte Flair, which is our main event for SmackDown. We'll get there. Next up, we got A-Town Down Under. That's Grayson Waller and Austin Theory taking on Dragon Lee and Cameron Grimes, in which it is nice to see Cameron Grimes on TV again. Hopefully this leads to something in the near future, and honestly, this was a really good match. Waller and Theory worked very, very well as a tag team. Dragon Lee is absolutely awesome, no doubt about it. And Cameron Grimes, he feels like he's a little rusty, but he looked good in this matchup. But after an eye rake, a rolling cutter, and A-Town down, your winners, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. So, we'll see where we go for that. Then we get a sit-down interview before the show starts. So it's like empty arena, in which I hate those. I need that reaction from the crowd, you know? like Kevin Owens is one of the most superstars on the roster. Put him in front of people. Like, don't have this pre-taped BS or whatever. Pretty much saying, being separated from my tag team partner is hard. We worked so hard to get those titles, and then when we lost it, it was devastating. But I'm ready to move on. And saying, I have a lot of history with the Bloodline. Obviously, never had a match with Mysterio or Sheamus, which, that's surprising. I'd love to see that. Then he turns to the interviewer and pretty much says, look, is there anyone I can punch in the face for you? I feel like there's someone I could, beat up for you. Interviewer's like, I should stay impartial. I shouldn't really say anything. And then Kevin Owens brings up, oh, what about Theory and Waller? I could punch them for you. And then interviewer's like, yeah, they got very punchable faces. Which, honestly, that got a pop out of me. That was great. And then he finishes up, I'm going to remind people why WWE, when people go home with the knowledge that this is the Kevin Owens show, which, nice fired up promo from Kevin Owens. Definitely going to be interesting to see what he does on his own, separated from Sammy. In which I feel like that was done way too soon. And with this whole trade thing, I don't know. I guess they could have done all they could with the tag titles, and I do not need to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against Priest and Balor again. I don't need it. So, silver lining. So next up, we got the women's title on the line as Charlotte Flair takes on Io Sky. And this, I'll admit, definitely a good match. Would I say it's pay-per-view worthy? It's debatable. It was still a lot of fun. Definitely times Bayley got involved. Dakota tried, but she's still not cleared, which, feel better soon, Dakota. Miss you, hon. Ma'am. Gotta be a little respectful. Charlotte Flair with a big old fallaway slam off the middle rope. That was absolutely gnarly. Then after a spear, Charlotte goes for a pinfall, but Bayley is up on the apron. She's got the attention of the ref. Then Charlotte with a big old shot to her head. Another spear. However, Io actually has the title belt, in which I guess Dakota slid it to her and blocked the spear, taking Charlotte out. Pinfall, and your winner, Io Sky. So, I'm going to give WWE points for this. I'm going to say usually, Bayley gets involved, that's a DQ. I am going to give them points for some creativity for this finish. I know we've seen it back in the day, but it's definitely a new layer to this story. Anyway, post-match Damage Control beatdown on Charlotte Flair. Making her return to the WWE is Bianca Belair, who makes the save, hitting a big old spine buster on Bayley. Looking for the KOD on Io. Bayley saves her, but then hits a KOD on Bayley. So, I'm going to say this. I like Bianca Belair. I like Charlotte Flair. They've had way too many title shots. There's got to be someone else you can throw in here to elevate them a little bit. But overall, I guess we'll see what happens in the near future. Alright, that is SmackDown done. We now go into our last show I'm going to be covering, and that's AEW Rampage. And we start off with a 2 out of 3 falls match for the pound for pound CMLL title as Rocky Romero takes on Mystico. If you don't know who Mystico is, he is the original Sin Cara in WWE. If you remember him, he used the trampoline to get in the ring, which was cool as heck. And then he well, let's just say he was on Botchamania a lot. I'll leave it at that. This match was absolutely excellent. First fall goes to Mystico after a arm submission. I don't think it was an arm bar, but it was definitely a quick first fall. Second fall, a lot more back and forth between the two. Rocky Romero with Mystico and the abdominal stretch. Mystico then gets out of it. Right into a sliced bread for a pinfall win for Rocky Romero. So that's a fall apiece. And the last match, they turn it up to 11. And they just start with the good lucha things, and I am here for it. We got Destroyers, we got Hurricane Ranas, we got Spanish Flies from the top. But the finish came with a Rana right into a La Mystica, which is an armbar submission. And your winner, Mystico. I'm going to say this, that was a heck of a bout. And I'm definitely interested to see what Mystico and, let's face it, the other CMLL roster members have in store for us here on AEW. Now, next up, we go backstage with Stokely Hathaway moderating a face-off between Eddie Kingston and Jay Lethal. Now, Jay Lethal has been wanting a Ring of Honor title shot for a while now. And then Hathaway comes up with, alright, here's what we're going to have. We're going to have a Memphis street fight on Collision tomorrow. If Eddie wins, no Jay Lethal match. But if Jeff Jarrett wins, Jay Lethal gets his title shot. Spoiler alert, Jeff Jarrett wins. In which, what the fuck. Anyway, so then Eddie, Jay Lethal, and Jeff Jarrett are talking a little ish, saying, "Oh, we know the real Eddie Kingston. We know what you like. We know your weakness." And Eddie Kingston sits up. "You want your... Don't think I know all your tricks?" I grew up in that stuff. Memphis wrestling was the wrestling I grew up on. I'm going to take you out and eat you alive. So, definitely a very interesting promo from the two. Next up, we had a triple threat match where the winner moves on to Battle of the Belts to face Orange Cassidy for his international title. Participants, we got John Silver, Kip Sabian, and Brother Zay, a.k.a. God, I forget his, other name. Definitely some really good back and forth from all three of these guys. They're not quite Lucha Libre level, but they're, kind of right below that. They're kind of X Division level, if I'm honest. Brother Zay goes for a twist of fate that gets countered. After a big moonsault, the Dark Order and Butcher and the Blade have a little face-off. That gets broken up. Then after a swanton bomb, a kick out, And John Silver with the super kick and the victory. So, John Silver taking on Orange Cassidy for the title. Could be interesting. Again, spoiler alert, Cassidy retains. Next up, we got a Santana and Ortiz dueling promo in which they pretty much say, look, our story isn't finished. While you're doubling down on your sad story, you created me to be your enemy. Fine, I'll be the villain of your story. And we're going to finish this up in Philadelphia. So, Santana and Ortiz in Philly. That's going to be interesting. Wonder if we'll see some sort of stipulation. Next up, in pretty much an extended squash match, you got Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta taking on Brian Keith and Exodus Braun. Brian Keith is a... I've definitely seen a couple times on AEW. He is currently out there killing it on the indies. And, yeah, he definitely brings the fight to Yuta. But then when Claudio gets in, he has a little tough of a time. You got giant swing into a drop kick, fastball special. So your winners, the Blackpool Combat Club. So, and they're challenging for the tag titles on Collision. Spoiler alert, they don't win. Although that gets broken up. I'm not covering that. But, we get a little, House of Black involvement, which, yes, please. Then we go backstage. The former JAS is all together. In which, Matt Menard pretty much goes off saying, look, it's not about the dance anymore, targeting Garcia. It's about the disrespect. And, Hager pretty much says, well, you guys need to figure this out, man. You need to squash this beef. And I didn't give up my hat for this. He walks off. And then Anna Jay chimes in, pretty much says, yeah, Hager's right. You need to squash this. You need to get ready for your trios match. And if you're going to plan on being champions, you got to squash this beef. So Matt Menard's looking right at Daniel Garcia. Says, alright, we got to squash the beef. Let's squash the beef. They shake hands. Beef squashed. Which, Parker's quite a character. I love him. Again, spoiler alert, they don't beat the Acclaimed. Then we get a backstage promo from the Young Bucks and Hangman Page. Pretty much saying, look, we haven't defended these titles in a while. We're going to defend them on Dynamite against any trio who steps up. Spoiler alert, it's going to be the Hardys and Brother Zay, which, that could be fun, honestly. Like, we were supposed to get the Young Bucks and the Hardys in a tag team title match somewhere down the, beforehand. So, yeah, trios match, that could be a lot of fun. I can't wait. And then we get to our main event as Sky Blue takes on Ruby Soho. And honestly, this was a very interesting little matchup. You kind of see Ruby trying to work heel, but then with Sky Blue's corruption, she's not her usual energetic, bubbly self. Definitely some hard-hitting shots from Sky Blue. But then, out comes Saraya, which, that's definitely interesting. Gets on the apron, distracts Sky Blue long enough for Ruby Soho to take advantage. Soho with the no future for only a 2 count. Goes for the destination unknown, but that gets countered. Sky Blue tries for a Skyfall. That gets countered. And then while the ref is dealing with Ruby Soho, Saraya has the spray can, hits Sky Blue with it, and right into the roll-up for the win for Ruby Soho. And of course, post-match, Soho and Saraya attack Sky Blue. And then Chris Statlander with the save. I'm surprised it wasn't Willow Nightingale. Then as Statlander runs off the Outcast, she extends a hand to Sky Blue. Then Sky Blue just rolls out of the ring and walks up the ramp. So, yeah, definitely some interesting beats going on here. Rampage has definitely stepped up its game. And, yeah, that was definitely an entertaining episode. Alright, so that is my review for the rest of the week in pro wrestling. Obviously no Collision, because I actually watched Bound for Glory last night, and oh boy, that review is going to be something else. Let me tell you that much. That's coming tomorrow. On Wednesday, I'm going to give my predictions for NWA Solway. Then on Thursday, I'm going to review Raw, Power, and then AEW Dynamite. And then I'm obviously going to watch Impact and MLW. But then on Friday, I'm going to be seeing some family for a little get-together. Then Saturday, I am going to be attending Collision. So, look for me out there. I'm obviously going to look a little different. I'm going to clean up a little bit. And make myself a little bit more presentable. So, that is it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.